Welcome to the Gaggle, where we bring you inside the newsroom to talk politics beyond what's in print. It has been a crazy and hectic week since Election Day. Ron, you have been crunching the numbers in the marquee Senate race. This has been high drama. What do we know?
Well, Sinema's campaign is certainly making the case that they have an insurmountable lead. When you do the math of the votes that remain, Rob, you've tallied them, and you just try and split them up just to get this race back to competitive. You really have to get into some fairly implausible scenarios where a race that has been going at about a 1.5 separation, now Martha McSally, who is trailing, has to start winning north of 15% on the whole. So that really feels unlikely at this point.
Everyone that we've talked to essentially has echoed the sentiments coming out of Democrat Kyrsten Sinema's campaign, which is Martha McSally, the Republican, would have to really pull out of this nosedive that she is in, and all signs show that mathematically it cannot be done. We will see what her campaign has to say. Meanwhile, Rob, you have been tracking the outstanding ballots in Maricopa County and beyond. What do we know from those numbers?
Well, basically, Maricopa runs off about 30 to 75,000 ballots a day. That as of right now, they have about 215,000, or statewide, there's 215,000. And what we see, especially in the Senate race, is the Democrats really did really well in Pima County, and they won in Maricopa County. Hobbs was winning in Maricopa County. Kathy Hoffman won in Maricopa County, and so it kind of brings into question like what happened this year that's different, because typically we see Maricopa as a Republican stronghold, and that's not what we saw this year. Sinema won every batch of ballots from Maricopa County, and that's like what Ron was saying. If you've won every batch before, how is this batch that's left out there going to go so hard for McSally that she'll pick up the win?
And you were referring to Katie Hobbs. She's the Democrat vying for the Secretary of State seat. Kathy Hoffman is vying for school superintendent. We also have all of this happening against the backdrop of allegations of improprieties and somehow that there were wrongdoings and election fraud. Everyone from the president down to local Republicans have weighed in on this. This is normal, though. This is a normal amount of time that it would take to count ballots, right?
The timing is certainly normal. In 2016, we believe it took about 10 days, and the years before that, it was about 14 days to fully process. I think it's maybe seems longer because we're not used to having this kind of high-profile, tight races in Arizona, at least to this extent. And I think you never think about the counting process after a race is called. I think people might think that that just stops happening, but they do continue counting ballots after we call races. So just because this race hasn't been called, you are getting to see, along with all of us, the very painstakingly slow process that we get to experience just to get our results. And a lot of that is due to the number of mail-in ballots. We get more and more people are going to mail-in. That's a very long process to verify those ballots and get them counted. So it's going to be a while longer before the last vote is counted.
We will be following the vote count. We will be following all of these other really tight races, particularly the U.S. Senate race, where it appears as though Democrat Kyrsten Sinema is on track to lock down the Senate seat in Arizona. This will be the first time in 30 years that a Democrat has taken the seat. Please follow our coverage on AZ Central, on Twitter, and on Facebook. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching.